really go over it quickly in Don Sagar style.
Please do.
Sagar Don.
Please.
So Anish Giri बोलता है अपन D4 खेलेगा. Okay, I want to go D4. But this is Dawn is English Dawn. Okay, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, b6. Queen's India, na? Queen's India, na? I'm going to go g3. Bishop e6. You want to go Queen's Indian, yeah? Let's go Queen c2. I'm defending my pawn. And Bishop e7, I'm put my bishop here. And when you go, oops, sorry.
Hi.
If you go Bishop b7 and you play c5, I'm going to give up my pawn here. And this is a pawn sacrifice. This is just, I don't know, just take this, it's pawn down, but I castle, and king is in the center, and you can't do much because bishop e7 and rook d1, because if you castle, I have queen e4, so he goes knight c6, and he says, you take this knight, I go knight b4, and I take this up. So I go queen f5 and I attack your knight, and you go knight f6, I go e4. Main move is g6, but he goes d6, and now you go e5. You can't take this because this is hanging. So you play queen d7. Anish is like, let's take it. Knight takes and pawn takes and bishop f6. Now black is better developed, but he goes for a check. King has to give up castling. The rook is unhappy. But then you go knight c3 and knight b4. He's coming here with a fork. What do? You go knight e5. And what's happening? Because here it is hanging with a check. This is also hanging. So he took on e5. He took on b7. The rook is hanging. So no time for fork. Rook d8. The d6 pawn is hanging. So rook d1 defending the pawn. Knight c2 is no longer a fork. Knight c4. Excellent move by Magnus. He wants to take this pawn. Pawn moves up ahead. Now the pawn is not falling. He went knight c2. The rook is attacked. Here they were discussing, did you want to take this? Magnus says no, I should have played knight e5, attacking this pawn, and the game was equal. But he goes knight d4, the blunder of the game. And now you need to find the winning move, which AG did, b4. And this was after a blunder, b4 after a blunder. Wow. And takes on d7, bishop d5, attacking the knight. The knight needed to move, and he took on c5, and pawn takes here. The bishop came out from a3, no one expected. c5 is hanging, and king e7. He took on c5 and knight e6. Everyone was like, AG, go knight e4. But Anish played bishop b4. Blunder, said the people. But guys, you are all normal. Anish is a super GM, and he realized that bishop c3, bishop c3. We have the bishop pair. So a5, Magnus wanted to deflect the bishop. The bishop took on a5. Rook c8, and the knight is hanging. And now Anish said knight a4. What a beautiful move, because the knight is coming here. He went, oops. He went here, and now there is the knight c4. Then in came rook c1, another beautiful move. Bishop e5, he gave a check. The king came up, but the knight came inside. Now the c4 knight is hanging. He took on c5, rook c4. This is hanging. Everyone thought, oh, Anish will play this, knight d3, and we'll go into a long end game. But Anish said, no, sorry guys, I'll go bishop a5. I'll attack this. And at this point, Magnus Carlsen resigned. Anish Giri wins.